Hello rappers, this is Japped On, and welcome to my first spoiler review of Spider-Man Far From Home. So let's get into it. Spider-Man Far From Home. So I got to rewatch the movie and I found more problems than I've initially had when I did my non-spoiler movie review of Erupt on Quick Shot. So yeah, let's get into this review. Now, one of the most hated things that I have with this movie is that they kept going with the idea that Iron Man is the Uncle Ben of the MCU Spider-Man, and I hate that so much. And don't say that Spider-Man moved on or anything. If he moved on, he probably doesn't even care about Uncle Ben, because you know that briefcase that was shown in the trailers, with BFP, the initials of Ben Parker, it blows up in the trip and he doesn't even care. Not even his aunt, the wife of Uncle Ben doesn't even care. So it's really like first it was like, yeah, okay, you're ignoring the character. You're not doing anything wrong, you're probably misusing it, that can be argued. But now you're honestly disrespecting the character. I really hate that. I don't like that Iron Man is the MCU of the is the Uncle Ben of the MCU. I just hate it so much. I also hate that the Far From Home suit, the black and red one, it is really good. It's so beautiful. If you watched Jimmy Kimmel when he got Tom Holland to wear the suit in an interview, it looks really good. But unfortunately, Marvel's logic is to put CGI over every single thing. There's no practical effects. There's like nothing. At least the Amazing Spider-Man, which gets really complained about, at least has practical effects. The Amazing Spider-Man 1, where he's in the bridge and he runs away from the cops, that's a very good practical effect. It's not amazing or anything outstanding, but it looks more realistic than whatever is shown, especially that swinging scene. I was like technically watching a Spider-Man PS4 gameplay. I wasn't watching Spider-Man Far From Home. I hate that they mistreat the suit by putting CGI over it. They just put CGI over everything. Speaking of scenes that look like Spider-Man PS4, the mysterious fight scene is all computer generated. There is literally nothing practical. It literally looks like a cutscene from Spider-Man PS4. There is nothing practical whatsoever. It's clearly computer generated. It doesn't look like nice to look at. It was certainly yeah, like fun and like it was fun to watch, okay? The mystery and stuff and all the playing with Peter Parker. It was, I hated it. I really hated that it's all computer generated. There is nothing practical. It doesn't feel realistic. That's one of the, well, people are saying, oh look, now Tom Holland is in high school, we can relate more, other than the Sam Raimi Spider-Man, where he quickly went to college and we couldn't relate to him in that level. Well, now everything is computer generated. It looks unrealistic. It looks like I'm playing a game. So how am I even supposed to relate to that? It doesn't look nice at all. There's no practical effects whatsoever. Everything is just CGI'd, 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 CGI'd. And that's a CGI problem that Marvel has. I'll put a video in the link in my description from a YouTuber known as Brown Table. He's a really good YouTuber. He talked about the CGI problem with Marvel and the MCU. Even one of the most well-known YouTubers, PewDiePie, the highest subscribed YouTuber other than T-Series, but T-Series is a company. PewDiePie even said that, for example, a movie, okay, like the critically acclaimed Dark Knight, okay, At least that movie has practical effects where the truck just literally flips over. That's a practical effect. While everything in the MCU is just literally CGI, CGI, CGI. Doesn't look realistic at all. And that's takes away some of the relatability that you can have with the movie and the character that you're watching. Now, when the post credit came out and the movie just came out, everyone started posting, "Oh my god, the post credit is something that never happened ever, not in comic books, TV shows, or any movie." But it did happen in two other franchises. It happened in the Amazing Spider-Man comics when they were written by Dan Slott, and it also started one of the worst storylines. One of and it was also done in the most amazing show, cartoon show you could ever watch, this spectacular Spider-Man. Unfortunately, that show was cancelled, but it's amazing. Now, my friends used to tell me to watch it, and I ignored them for a bit because it's a cartoon, but it is one of the best incarnations of Spider-Man. I recommend you to watch it. So, but let me tell you what this has to happen with the post-credit. Now, this can tell you what could happen with the future of Spider-Man's identity being revealed. First, when Mysterio told everyone that that Peter Parker is Spider-Man, when he was talking over a camera, you didn't really see Peter Parker's face in the suit. He didn't show Peter Parker's face in the suit. He just said it's Peter Parker. When Spider-Man was reacting, it was just Spider-Man looking. It wasn't Peter Parker wearing the suit. You didn't no one from the audience saw Peter Parker wearing the suit. And that could be a way that Spider-Man can tell the people that he's not Peter Parker. The same thing was done with the Spectacular Spider-Man TV show. Venom told everyone that that Peter Parker is Spider-Man, but yet no one believed them. Well, many tried. They asked Spider-Man, and he kept saying no and stuff. He kept hiding. Um, yeah, and Venom tried to take off Peter Parker's face to prove that, but he wasn't able to. So no one believed that Spider-Man is Peter Parker because no one saw his face wearing the suit. And that also can go to something has been evident with the recent Spider-Man. Um, in the Sam Raimi trilogy, New York was a really important character. That is a bit evident in Homecoming, but not really. There is this scene where all the new people in New York help Spider-Man from Green Goblin, and that is a very good showing of unity within New York. Now, that was probably done because 9/11 was recently happened when that movie came out. So yeah, people. But it also happened in the Spectacular Spider-Man show where people gathered wearing Spider-Man suits and they started showing. Everyone started saying, "Oh, I'm Spider-Man, I'm Spider-Man, I'm Spider-Man." And literally everyone forgot that Peter Parker was supposed to be Spider-Man, and they just forgot about it. So that it could be something that could happen in the sequel, where Spider-Man can be wasn't where Peter Parker wasn't shown wearing the suit, so not everyone's going to believe that Peter Parker is Spider-Man because they didn't see his face wearing the suit, and especially in the video clip where Mysterio is saying he is. Now, speaking of the comics written by Dan Slott, when this happened, when in Civil War, after Civil War, Spider-Man revealed to everyone that he is Peter Parker, and Aunt May died. And before he gets Aunt May to live, which started one of the worst storylines in the comics, he went over to Doctor Strange to make everyone forget that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. And yeah, Doctor Strange is found in the MCU. He could totally go and tell Doctor Strange to do so. But maybe we're going to see the same thing that was done in like yeah, the same thing that was done in this movie where Doctor Strange is going to be busy so he's probably not gonna help. Or maybe something is going to happen to Doctor Strange, and Doctor Strange 2, maybe he's going to lose his powers, and then when it comes to Spider-Man 3, he won't be able to ask Doctor Strange for help. So yeah, everyone literally just over exaggerated the post credit scenes as if it's something amazing. Now, I didn't really care when Mysterio said that Spider-Man is Peter Parker, but I went crazy when I saw J.K. Simmons back. Now, there were also rumors that J.K. Simmons would have returned to play J. Jonah Jameson in The Amazing Spider-Man 3. Now, as we know, the Daily Bugle does actually exist in The Amazing Spider-Man universe. Um, as in The Amazing Spider-Man 1, Peter Parker was trying to take photos of the lizard for Daily Bugle to find, to give proof. And yeah, and so there have been rumors that J.K. Simmons would have come to reprise his role as J. Jonah Jameson in Spider-Man 3. And I just really wish that The Amazing Spider-Man 3 was done, and just imagine a whole universe just centered on Spider-Man characters, on Spider-Man enemies, on Spider-Man. It would have been amazing. Now, I should have stopped rambling, but I've talked all about that in my The Amazing Spider-Man, The Tragedy of the Amazing Spider-Man video essay, which is going to be in the link in the description, and it's going to show up in the end of my videos. So you could click and see that. But yeah, when J.K. Simmons came to the MCU Spider-Man universe, I was that's what made me go crazy. Not the reveal that that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. Literally, when J.K. Simmons just showed up, I just hit the handles on my table, and I had like a cola cup just flew out of the chair. It was amazing. I went crazy when I saw J.K. Simmons. Yeah, he's bold now, but I don't mind that. It's kind of like comic, not really comic, accurate to the comics, but you don't have to be every detail, right? But yeah, it was crazy. It was amazing. That's one of the most. That is like the best thing I've seen in Spider-Man Far From Home. Now, going back to the idea that that no one saw Peter Parker wearing the suit of Spider-Man. Now, it can get a bit creative, in which Mysterio can trick Spider-Man to taking off his mask, and then it will actually be him taking off his mask in public, but Peter Parker would think he's taking off his mask at his home, maybe. So yeah, that could like be a way that Mysterio can prove to everyone that yes, he was right, but I don't think it's going to be that easy for him. Yet this can make for a amazing sequel, because as you know that Eddie Brock, or Venom, knows who a Spider-Man is, and that is one of the like scary stuff of Venom. Peter Parker cannot really run away from Venom because he knows that he's Peter Parker, and he's chasing him the whole time. And now that some rumors have been coming out that Venom is coming to Spider-Man, the third Spider-Man in the MCU, he could he could go from San Francisco, chase him, maybe because there's a huge bounty in his name, who knows, and he could start chasing him and trying to kill him, and he won't even stop chasing him when he is Peter Parker, because it has been revealed that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. So it could make for a very amazing sequel. So I can't wait for that. In my Repton quick shot, I said that I didn't like the Elementals in Far From Home. Now, if you don't know, that the Elementals are originally a team of human beings that got the powers of earth, water, and all those stuff, and then made their own team, like a Sinister Six, but just made out of elementals. And they have lives; they're not lifeless monsters, and that's why I hated it in Far From Home. But I think one of them has a really good chance to come back, which is Sandman. For some reason, when Sandman showed up in the beginning of the movie, he was straight up cut after Mysterio attacks him, and then well, you never heard of Sandman. So I think maybe because they have a bit of plans for him in the future. Now I won't really say that they disrespected the elementals because they totally showed them like really big forms and powerful and in their prime. But I hated that they were lifeless monsters and they had no lives, no characters. I mean, some of them are really good characters. Like for example, the fire monster, which was shown in the movie, is actually the brother of Spider-Man's prom date in Homecoming. So yeah, that would have made like for an amazing story. Just to take stuff seriously in the MCU Spider-Man. But for some reason, they always try to ignore anything that could have made Spider-Man in the MCU serious. It's like they have comedy first against seriousness, against action, against. There is no type of seriousness that was found in the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man or the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. It's a comedy movie first, then a Spider-Man movie, and that's what I really hate. Like Sandman was also a very emotional and very strong character that can also give respect to the people who want Ben Parker to be mentioned in the MCU. He could say that he killed him. That could have been like amazing, but also they ignore that and they make him just illusion from Mysterio. And I don't think the Elementals are gonna come back after this. So yeah, unfortunately they misused them, and but it wasn't disrespectful to the characters. And speaking of the new suits, I know I complained about the new suits because in Homecoming the main idea was that if you're nothing without the suit, then you shouldn't have it. And then Peter Parker went back to the homemade suit, which was really good. And I know that the rule, well, everyone told me in the comments that this rule of having, of you not being anything without the suit, then you shouldn't have it, was broken in Infinity War. I know that that was broken in Infinity War, but that was made for like emergencies where like he was literally going to space. So that literally doesn't excuse Far From Home. And I think that it takes everything into a circle. What I mean by it is that first we learned that we have some lessons that were made in Homecoming, and then it went all back to the start where he doesn't even know his lesson anymore. And so we went back a circle as if he hasn't learned anything from the previous movie and the previous movies he showed in. Probably about like taking on the new Avengers, and at the end you would have thought that for the better he would have finally moved on from Iron Man and everything in the end of this movie. But unfortunately they still strive more towards the idea that he's the new Iron Man, which I really hate. I really wish that Spider-Man is not really. Now I know that it's more realistic that if you see like Stephen Strange or you see like Iron Man, you're supposed to like, it's like, a kid, a 16-year-old, 15-year-old kid is supposed to be like, oh wow, Iron Man, Doctor Strange, how are you, and all stuff. He's supposed to be enthusiastic. But I would like if he was more serious, if he was, when he sees like Captain America and stuff, he was like, oh yeah, hi Captain America, or like, oh yeah, you're Captain America. Not like a fanboy. Like in each movie he has been, there is no seriousness whatsoever in his character, and I hate that. I want some of that, which was present in all of the previous movies. Now, speaking of the second post-credit scene, I didn't really care of that. Now, a bit, it annoyed me a bit, okay? Just because it's not Spider-Man related, and I came for this movie to watch Spider-Man. I don't want a post-credit not about Spider-Man. I didn't want it at all. Okay, it bothered me a bit just because I saw a very like amazing post credit where J.K. Simmons came up, but then the second post credit was like, yeah, okay, but some people are saying that it could be the reveal that of Sword, where that is space version of Shield, but I don't think it is because that spaceship just has scrolls, and I don't think the space version of Shield is just consistent. It just has scrolls. That would be a bit stupid. And yeah, they could plan for a secret invasion storyline, but because in the comics, the Skrulls are evil. They're not like what the stupid movie Captain Marvel made them as refugees, which was really stupid and so HJW. Just with what happened, just to like get an agenda of what's happening right now. But speaking of that, so I don't think a secret invasion storyline could happen just because the Skrulls in the comics did the secret invasion because they're evil. They're clearly not evil in the MCU, so I don't think a secret invasion storyline is gonna happen. So just scrap that. Now, speaking of the Fantastic Four, there has been a lot of rumors of the Fantastic Four. Now, if you've seen this in the very last scene where Spider-Man is swinging before the post-credit scenes and before the movie ends, you could see the Avengers Tower being constructed again, reconstructed, and you could see a billboard saying 1, 2, 3 and question mark. So what comes after 3 is the number 4, Fantastic Four. Nick Fury is in space. The Fantastic Four had their powers because of a incident in the space. Maybe Nick Fury can then save them, make them own the new tower, or maybe they already owned the new tower. It was just being built, and the Fantastic Four can come in the maybe instead of an Avengers movie in the end of every phase, now we're going to have a Fantastic Four movie in the end of each phase. Maybe, who knows? It could lead to the Fantastic Four, but yeah, I don't really know what the post credit is. I didn't really like it. It was a bit anticlimactic just after what I've seen with J.K. Simmons. So yeah. Now honestly, rewatching this movie, I don't like it as much, and I will give the movie a new rating, and it's a 7.5. Before I gave an 8, it's a 7.5 now. Yeah, I'm going to get a lot of backlash for saying that, but I don't love the MCU Spider-Man. I don't like the MCU Spider-Man, and I really agree with High Top Films video about Spider-Man Far From Home. I'm also going to put it in the link in the description. Make sure you check it out to see what I think and why I gave Spider-Man Far From Home a lower rating. And yeah, I'm going to also make a ranking of all the Spider-Man movies, especially the animated and the spin-offs like Venom. So yeah, all Spider-Man movies are going to be ranked. And just remember, the ranking is not on quality. I'm not rating them on, oh, this has a better quality or this has a better like character arc for Spider-Man. No, I'm rating them on how much I love them, on how much I like them. I'm telling you my ranking. Okay? So yeah, this is a bit of a problem that people do when they do rankings. They just look at Rotten Tomato scores and say, oh, this is like the least Rotten Tomato scored Spider-Man, then it's the least, it's the worst Spider-Man. So yeah, I'm going to do a ranking. 7.5 is the new score for Spider-Man Far From Home. Make sure to stay tuned for more videos, and share this, follow me on my Instagram, it's going to be in the link in the description below, and have a nice rest of the day.